Alright, y'all, say goodbye to all these guppies. The vast majority of them are about to get bagged up, taken to the shops, and sold or traded for food and other fish, whatever. I am actually going to change my guppy breeding system because this one just too much work, and it doesn't work out right because I end up making mistakes, like I miss a male or whatever, and then everybody's pregnant, and then I just have like, I don't know if you can even see in here, there's like these tiny little fry, like a couple day old size fry. There's one by that algae. Somebody had babies. I don't know who. Anyway, the point is, I'm not going to do this selective breeding anymore. Yeah, when all these guppies are out of here, my poor snail can rest without guppies constantly tickling him and annoying him. Except at night. He can come out of his shell again for a while. But this side is going to be mosaics. I'm going to keep these beasts, like my best 3 males probably, like that guy's one of them. Right there, these huge tails, super colorful. All the ones that have the smaller tails are out. This side's going to be half black pastels. I'm breeding for iridescence on the back. I want to make like a variant of this strain. I'll call it like silverback or something. So this female's going to stay, if I can get the camera to focus, this big female right here in the front. I bought her last time I was at the market. I'm going to try to find some more mosaic females of a similar color to put in here, and then that's just going to be mosaics on this side, and then on this side I'm going to keep selectively breeding for iridescence on the back. So there's 3 males in here who have white from, like that's one right there, ooh, right there. They have white all the way to the tips of their nose. And those are the guys who are going to get to breed. Everybody else is leaving. Alright, well, I'm going to get off camera and get to work, get these guys packed up, and I'll probably take some footage at the market. I might get some more gold barbs, move them into the 45. Definitely going to get a couple female guppies. Hopefully I can find some platinum red mosaics or whatever with Dumbo ears to mix with these guys, because they have the half black, they have the Dumbo ear, and they have the platinum genes, just not portrayed right now. It's recessive or whatever. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye. Alright guys, we're in the market. I just picked up 3 of these half black pastel long fin females to breed with my male half black pastels. This is Lao Ding's shop. That's his name. It means old ding. And he mostly sells guppies. See here. And it's got a bunch of different strains, but I couldn't find any of the mosaic strain that I wanted, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find them today. I need to look at a couple more shops. He mostly sells guppies. Got some angelfish and stuff over here. Anyway, I just paid for my fish, so I'm gonna get out of his hair, and that's the ones that I got, so you'll see them when we get back home. Alright guys, we're in another shop right now. I want to make a point real quick. See all those dead fish? Almost every single, I love this guy's shop, don't get me wrong, he has great fish, but almost every single one of these tanks has dead fish, overcrowding. There's a dead guppy on that filter, more guppies down there. Dead freaking peacock bass that's like 6 inches long over here. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I have made comments before in videos where I'm like, oh, Chinese people don't care about animal welfare and they overcrowd their tanks and whatever, and then people comment on the video like, oh, you're so racist and you're ignorant foreigner and shut up, you don't know what you're talking about, those fish are just in there temporarily until they get sold. No, I do know what I'm talking about. I come here all the time. These fish are in here for months on end, most of them. And a lot of them die, like that one right there, and that one right there, and a bunch of other ones in here. So, basically, shut up. I do know what I'm talking about. I'm not being racist. And when I say stuff like that, there's a good reason. Like Chinese people straight up tell me, oh, if you put a fish in a small tank, it won't grow big, no matter what kind of fish it is. We all know that's a myth, and that's cruel to the animals, etc. So I have no problem with Chinese people or anything about Chinese people. I'm just saying a lot of them don't treat their fish as well as Western fish keepers because there's less of an awareness and an impetus toward animal welfare in their culture. That's all I'm saying. So, that aside, I think I am going to buy one of these guppies, despite the fact that there's a ton of dead ones in here, because they're the only decent looking mosaics I've seen in any of the shops. And I might get one of these coolie loaches back there because I've been looking for those for a long time and I've never seen them before. So I'm gonna go talk to this guy and see what's up. I'll be back in a bit. What's up, YouTube? Brian here. Figure it's time for a Around the World update. I'm gonna try to be a little more detailed this time because normally I just kind of breeze through and don't actually detail all what's in each tank and what it is and everything. So this is my 65-gallon tank. As you can see, there's discus in here and other South American fish. I just threw a few cubes of bloodworm in there, so everybody's eating right now. I have, what is it, 7 discus right now? Yeah, 7 discus in here. I've had this guy, this guy, this guy, and one more. Where'd it go? That one. For, I don't know, probably like close to a year now. And then this guy raised up from juvenile. He's getting really big. He's actually bigger than one of the ones I've had for a long time now. I think he's going to keep going until he matches Big Red, which is my biggest discus, who's back in the corner right now. Just because of his eye to body proportion, I think I got lucky with some really good DNA. There are bronze corridoras down there. I used to have several kinds of corridoras, so I think there's still a couple. Yeah, there's a Julii hanging out with them. And there should be a couple, I'm blanking on the name, corridor something or other. There's also an albino right there. What are they called? Those ones that look like tiger striped. Right there on the left. I'm sure you guys know the name. I just cannot remember it right now. Major brain fart. Starby quarries. So I think there's 2 Starby quarries left in here. I used to have more, but some of them died. This substrate is not great on their barbels. A lot of them have missing barbels. But they've been in here for months and months and months, and they're still alive, and it's extremely difficult to try to catch them, and I don't have anything to do with them even if I did catch them out, because no shop wants to buy corridors from me. So there's the cories, the discus, and then there's 2 geophagus. This is a Biotodoma cupidae, or a cupid cichlid. Bob just got a few of these recently. Mine's actually really nice lately, coloring up. You can see, hopefully, that nice rich yellow-orange color down the body, the iridescent white highlights on the caudal fin and the ventral fins. Of course, he's hiding behind a log now. And down here we have my geophagus Tapajos. He's one of my favorite fish. I think I like him better than the discus. He's very beautiful. A lot of personality. So that's it for this tank. We got a bunch of cories, maybe 10 or 12, I don't know, I haven't even counted them in a long time. 7 discus, cupid cichlid, and a Rio Tapajos geophagus. The filtration on this tank is 2 sponge filters and this box filter with pothos in it and a single bag of filter media. Extremely simple. Not hardly any mechanical filtration. I mean, the box filter does some, but it's mainly biofiltration. I usually feed this tank like once a day, sometimes twice a day. Alright, I'm going to go in the other room and feed my 45 and my 13 gallon now, so let's go over there. Alright guys, if you watched my last update, you'll know that this is the tank I was having a lot of issues with. I lost quite a few fish out of it. Ow, Cora! Ah! Sorry, my daughter is jamming her elbow into my meat of my thigh extremely hard. We got the Progorami. We have 5 Congo tetras. I went ahead and moved the golden barbs over here. There's 6 of those. There's also a Siamese algae eater in here. He's usually hiding. And then down there, a extremely huge grass shrimp who's about to grab that cube of blood shrimp and eat the whole thing by himself. Or blood shrimp. Brine shrimp, what am I talking about? He's pretty sweet. Scared of the camera though. I also put a coolie loach in here, a juvenile. Haven't seen it since I put it in the tank, but I've read on the internet that they can bury in the substrate, and they're also nocturnal, so you might not see them hardly at all. I'm hoping it's still doing fine, but I haven't seen it alive or dead, so I'm not really sure. I added another light to this tank because I forgot to mention in my last update that I shorted out my DIY lights by overflowing the tank and submerging them on accident during my frantic attempt to save my fish, and that sucked, so I had to go get this. But actually it's a lot better than my DIY lights. It only cost like, I think I did my DIYs for maybe like $3 DIY LEDs, and then this thing was like 45 RMB, so what is that? A little under $7, and it's, you know, pure white submersible LED. It's really popping the fish. They're looking great compared to before. And as you can see, the Anubias are putting out new leaves like crazy, so they're doing really well in the dirt. I've never put Anubias in a dirted tank before, but they seem to love it. And there's a lot less algae too, I think because I had Amazon swords in here before, and they are root eaters, if I understand correctly. So they were pulling all their nutrients out of the dirt, and there's like, I don't know if you can see that on camera, probably not, but there's like a good probably 2.5 to 3 inches on this side of the tank of dirt and poop underneath the gravel cap, because I've never gravel vacked this tank. It's my second oldest tank. It's been going for over a year now probably, and as I explained in the last update, I had to recap it because the poo level kept getting higher and higher, and it went above the gravel level, and then when I did a water change, I released a bunch of anaerobic gas and killed my fish. So I recently put even more gravel on top, and the Anubias take their nutrients directly out of the water, mostly, so I'm thinking that they're hogging all the nutrients in this tank, plus there's a lighter bioload in here now, so anyway, I've had a lot less glass to scrape off the front, and it looks better, fish seem happier, so I guess the disaster last time actually worked out well. Oh, thanks. That's a piece of foil from the food, baby. My daughter just handed me a piece of foil from the frozen brine shrimp package. Fell on the floor. Alright, let's move over here to the next tank. I'm going to pause the camera for a second so I can put food in, and then we'll move on. Alright, here we are at the 12 gallon. And you can see right there the red flame or fire red dwarf gourami was just eating the blood. Yeah, I keep saying blood shrimp. Brine shrimp that I put in. My ram is hiding back there. Not right now, baby. You can't push on Daddy's hand when he's using the camera. Ayah! Sorry about that. Stinking babies don't understand the value of filming. Anyway, I really like this guy. He's probably my new favorite. I mean, I'm still really bummed that I lost my red-tailed nothos because those fish were amazing. I don't know if I'll ever get them again, but hopefully I'll find some. But for the meantime, he's really cool. I used to keep a dwarf gourami, just a standard one. It died at one point, but I really like dwarf gouramis. Their behavior is very interesting and playful. I'm trying to see, I don't know if you can see back in the corner behind the power head, there are 2 killifish in here as well. Aphyoscimon striatus, I believe. I finally figured out the species. I was thinking it was... yeah, get out of here. I was thinking it was Fundulopanchax for a really long time, which is why I couldn't ID it, because I couldn't find anything that looked like it in the genus Fundulopanchax, even though it looks like a Fundulopanchax. There's another genus called Aphyoscimon or something like that, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, which has even more species in it, and they look extremely similar to Fundulopanchax, and I looked through those and figured out that they are Aphyoscimon striatus. They're actually quite beautiful whenever they come out, but they're extremely shy. You can see one of their caudal fins right there. They took a beating when I moved them into the 45, and then they weren't doing too well in there, so I moved them back when I switched the golden barbs over to the 45. I brought the 2 killifish back into here. And when I don't have the camera up in the tank and there's not a crazy toddler slapping the glass and making noise, they like to come out and swim in the mid-tank. And they're very beautiful, lots of pink, green, different colors. Same with the ram, she's always camera shy. But I also added this little pile of rocks just because I felt like the tank was a little... Bye-bye, get out of my way. Come on, man, you're killing me. Bye-bye, go away. Yeah, bye, go. So, I put those rocks. That's pretty much it for this tank. Constant baby interruptions are driving me crazy, so I'm going to cut this off. Because they're no longer separated by male and female. This is going to be the mosaic guppy tank. Here's 2 of the males I kept for breeders. And here's the other one. These guys are pretty sweet looking. They got Dumbo here. They got really good color. There's the Molly, my oldest companion. He survived all the disasters, all the mistakes. He's been with me longer than any other fish. Doesn't look like much, but he's a beast. There's Gen G, my apple snail. He's looking for some food. What's up, dude? Now that there aren't a million baby guppies in here biting him every time he comes out of his shell, he's much less shy than he was before, which is nice. I love seeing his long antennae and mustache. That's what I call it anyway. The feelers by his mouth when he's going around searching for brine shrimp. So I don't gravel vac my tanks most of the time. Hardly ever. I had never gravel vac this tank since I set it up, 8 months ago or something. And it was just getting really gross because there's no real mechanical filtration in here at all. It's just these 2 sponge filters. So I took out all the rocks, everything, and realized that there was like a good inch of poo on the bottom of the tank underneath all the rocks and stuff. So I did some major cleaning yesterday. After that, I decided to just put 2 rocks back in and to bury these plants that I had been let floating, because obviously they're not supposed to be floating plants. I just stuck all their roots under the crushed coral, and then it took about 5 runs with my Eheim Easy Vac Pro or Quick Vac Pro, whatever it's called, to get this substrate decently clean, but yeah, it looks a lot better now. The water's much clearer. And I also realized that I still have shrimp in here. There's one right there, obviously. There's a couple right there on those leaves. But there's way less than I thought there were. I mean, they were breeding, and there's a baby right there. You can see them, but I had like 30 some in here at one point, and now I'm counting like less than 10. So I think they were just getting outcompeted for food by the snail and all the guppies that were in here. I wasn't able to find a good mosaic female, so for now I'm just going to stick with these 3 males until I can find someone for them to breed. Let's look at this one now. So over here, this is now the half black pastel tank. It currently has 1, 2, 3, 4 adult females, all of which I purchased. These 3 long-finned ones are from the same strain. They're probably related. The other one is from a different strain. And then the 3 males are actually mixed breeds that I bred myself. There's also a ton of little fry in here that the short-finned female gave birth to shortly after I bought her. So those should be purebred half-black pastel short fins or whatever. Not really sure because they haven't grown out enough to show any color. They're still really tiny, but this tank is just going to be this colony. My main selection trait here is iridescence on the body, so every time I cull, I'm going to keep whoever has the most iridescence on their back and pull everyone else. The reason there's a net in here right now is because there's one immature mosaic female in here who I could not catch. She's extremely skittish. Every time she comes out and I try to catch her, she goes and hides in all the plants. And I don't want to tear this tank apart to get to her, so I'm hoping that if I leave the net in there, eventually she'll chill out enough to come out where I can catch her. There's the green dragon Plico, longfin Plico. He's doing good. However, the one in this tank died. I forgot about that. It was totally fine as far as I could tell, healthy, whatever. Its belly was always full, but I came down one morning and it had like burrowed underneath a huge chunk of the crushed coral, and I think it just like got stuck under there and like suffocated or something, because there was no marks of disease on it. When I pulled the body out, its belly was full, but it was like completely like, I don't know if it was like going after a brine shrimp that fell down there or what, but it was just completely like crushed under this rock. And it was dead by the time I found it. So, I mean, not this specific rock, but a rock in the tank. So I only have the one right now, but you can see right there his belly's nice and full. Probably a fish food, because there's not a whole lot of algae in here these days. Both these tanks have finally got balanced pretty well with the hair algae, I feel like. They used to be terrible. If you've been watching it for a long time, you probably know that. Alright, well I think that's about it for the update, guys. I'm starting to repeat myself, and you've probably got a good idea of what's going on at this point. But thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.